All right, it says we're live.
Well, I can't see us, so we're not live.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
I didn't vote for him.
You're a loony.
I'm being a princess.
You call me Big Nose one more time, I'll take you to fucking cleaners.
Ladies and gentlemen,
my.
the 10th and final episode. It's a week late, but the 10th and final episode of season 1 of Talking Picard. And we'll get into that, Neil. I already heard your inner monologue there for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by. We're having fun. It's Palm Sunday. It's also First Contact Day.
Did we make contact?
Apropos, would you like to explain First Contact Day?
First Contact Day, according to the Star Trek timeline, is the day that we will eventually make contact with the Vulcans for the first time in 2063 after Zephyr Cochrane's first warp drive test. Immortalized in the movie Star Trek First Contact.
So it's
There we go.
It's like May the 4th, but for Star Trek nerds.
I'm
Yeah,
so
like
leaving chicky nuggies and blue milk on May the 3rd for
Hey,
baby.
I just got my parents started on Mandalorian because of Disney Plus. So, yeah, it's great. I rewatched the first episode for the first time in ages. Yeah, crossing the streams here. Star Wars, Star Trek, hey. Mandalorian,
We're always
Star of the
crossing
Picard.
streams. My old man was asking me earlier on today, when's season 2 of The Mandalorian coming out? And when I told him it was October, you should have seen the look of disappointment on his face.
Yeah.
All right.
It won't be
I'm blaming-
October either.
Let's make this happen here. My name is Paul Anthony. I am joined by a cadre of wonderful people. I've got Mrs. Anthony to my right. Say hello.
Hi.
Mrs. Anthony is not just my wife. She's also the designer of the logos you see. She does her shirts for woot.com. She has her own public site. She's drawn stuff for Thaddeus.
Yes,
And speaking of Thaddeus, who are you?
who am I?
Who are you?
No one knows. Who am I?
I'm
Introduce
lost.
yourself.
Oh, hi. I'm Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. I have a channel called Going Nerdy. I've been on this show every week. Well, except last week. We didn't do it last week.
Well, we didn't
heard
do a
you have
show
a-
anyway.
I heard you have a hoard of toilet paper as well.
I do.
I've seen your defense mechanisms. I'm coming
Yeah.
for you.
I went to Costco and they were like, you can only take one. I'm like, I only need one. I'll be back tomorrow. So, yeah, I do have two, not like throne level things, but there's, I mean, I'm an avid pooper, and I've just got to say, I feel like I have more than enough. I'm not hoarding anything. I really am not, but I feel like we're good. You know.
All right. And
On that note.
and speaking of Quilton Northern, we are now going to go north of the border up to Apropos. Apropos, how are you, sir?
I am peachy. I'm all excited, in however many years that is from now to finally meet the Vulcans. Because we're right on track. All we need is World War III. Then we, out of the ashes, we build the warp drive. So, Star Trek isn't lost. They just miscalculated the timeline.
All right. And so explain, you're with Team Wednesday.
Yeah, Team Wednesday, a bunch of zany characters who are very unique. Those are good words for it.
Yeah, that is.
I've got my own little channel that mostly is just turned into GAC streams these days, but they're quick and fast ones, no long ones. Just in, get her done, or get smoked. But yeah, Team Wednesday crew is an interesting bunch if you have the stomach for it.
And then finally, and last but certainly not least, my hetero life mate for the Escape Pod cast, Neil Andrew Eyre. How are you, sir?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh dear.
Welcome to my world.
Neil has had a little bit of
And I haven't stopped.
at least you're drinking Miller Lite. Miller Lite, 675, 34-ounce mother plucker mugs of Miller Lite all night. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry.
Where are you?
It's been 2 weeks since I've been able to host trivia night. I'm having withdrawals.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to go online for it.
So, all right, guys. So let's get into this. What I'd like to do, I certainly want to try to be done within the hour, but I do want to recap the episode, recap the season, and then give our vote for the or give our rating for the season, and then give our rating for the episode, and then our rating for the season. And then we've got 2 episodes of Going Nerdy's Talking Clones to catch up on. Are we going to do 2 episodes, or are we just going to do a double header?
Oh, we're going to do 2 episodes.
Okay, so we'll stop and then go and then restart.
No, we'll just wait, hold on. What are you talking about?
Are we doing 2 individual separate episodes of...
Oh, no. We'll just do it all in one.
Okay.
Just do it all in one.
So you
double header, mesh it together.
You'll want to click the description, go to Thaddeus's channel for Talking Clones coming up after this. When we join in to this episode, we essentially get a rundown of everything that's happened this past season. And you could simply watch this episode and be caught up. Because they give you the entire season in 3 minutes, and then we see Soji and I'm forgetting names right now.
Has it been that long?
It has been that long for me. We see them building the tower to transmit and call the omnipotent AI.
Babel.
Could have been Control.
That's my secret theory.
That's Christie's theory.
Oh, what,
So-
the omnipotent AI?
Yeah, this whole AI that they're trying to call from
Yeah, the
far reaches
unoriginal AI, yeah. Yeah, the
I think
bollocks.
it's-
Calling other
I
Borg.
heard from-
They just don't know it yet.
Yeah, let's just rip off
Where
a
the
bunch
board
of other
went
movies.
after.
What was that is?
They're calling the other Borg. They just don't know it yet. That's
Gotcha. And then Mrs. Anthony, you had something?
I think it's gonna be like, I think that's where season 2 is gonna go, is maybe what that is, or it could not be. I don't know. The ending kind of left some things up in the air for me, but I was thinking about the from the movie, the motion picture, the planet that the Voyager probe landed on, and it became V'ger.
Vija.
Yeah, V'ger. Thank you. And then the sphere that in Discovery that Control tried to take over and tried to learn from and become sentient. That came from an ancient race too. So those are the 2 ancient race AIs that have already been talked about in Star Trek.
All right. So we see that Narek is on the run. He meets up with his sister who had been hiding out on the artifact. Narek loads up on explosives and then heads out, and Elnor follows his ass around. And then we cut to Picard, currently begging for Soji to stop with the beacon, and it's to no use. But the doctor, Jahardi, seems to be a little one step ahead of Dr. Soong. So, have we forgotten that she killed Maddox?
No, we haven't, but the writers clearly did. I just don't know about her character anymore.
It's a
She's
weak
just up and
atonement
down
plug.
all over the. It's just, let's just write this. We'll write that. We'll write this. We'll write that. Pfft, yeah, whatever.
Is it a redemption thing though? I mean, are we seeing her trying to make amends for murder? I mean, let's face it though. I mean, she had her mind manipulated to, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that she's completely redeemable here. But I will say that, yes, I forgot she killed Maddox. I also forgot she slept with not Rafi.
The captain.
She might have.
Well, she may have. I don't know how long they spent in space. But, Rios, right? And so, like, there were moments, but I feel like they were trying to make her redeemed here. Like, I really do. I think that this is more than just I've always been a good guy, because she clearly hasn't, right? But I don't know. I think this is the writers trying to redeem her character.
No, the writers are trying to justify her murdering someone so that she doesn't have to pay for the crime of murdering someone.
Clearly. I mean, yeah.
Which just doesn't work for me.
All right, Mrs. Anthony?
I had mixed feelings about this. As soon as she started, like, butting up to the synths, and knowing that they have that, they kept calling it a golem, but basically that AI body that they can transfer somebody's brain into. I thought that she was going to go a hard left and steal that body for herself and become a synth, because she was so obsessed with them. And then I kept having, like, doubts, and she, like, her flip, she keeps just flipping character. Like, I think she's good and then she's bad, and I think she's going to become an AI, and then I think she's going to stop the AI. And I could just never put my thumb on this character. Every time I thought I had her pegged, she'd just go left turned and into a completely different direction that I wasn't expecting.
And I wouldn't say that was a character strength. I'd say that was a writing weakness.
It's a writing. It is. It's not a character strength. It's a writing weakness.
I feel like
some characters do that naturally. That's the way their character works. But with her, most of her story felt forced. It didn't flow the way it should have.
I feel like they took this character and used it to fill a bunch of plot holes that they had. Whereas in a regular series, they would have hundreds of people on the ship, and they would have used throwaway characters for a lot of these. But Picard,
she's the throwaway
characters.
So I actually have a question, and quite possible. I mean, I could put on the tinfoil hat here. Was her character an afterthought? Like, Picard could have gotten all the information he needed without going to her necessarily, right? He didn't need to see. I mean, she wouldn't have to have been on the ship at all, right?
Yeah, no, she is Indiana Jones. She is Indiana Jones from Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, like,
she's not needed.
Everything would have happened without her. Fine. I think they wanted to have a character that is just explaining the events, but like, I don't. She's not a necessary character. I think you're right, Christy. That
she was a convenience.
Which is annoying, because she started off very promising.
She did.
I think that maybe she was like
I mean, I've never liked Raffi, but during the start, I liked the Doctor. I thought she was a good character.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Christy?
I think that you're exactly right. I think she started as, like, maybe Hardy just know everything, because she's suddenly doing, like, biological medicine, even though she's a robotics expert. Like, she filled like way too many roles, and I prefer.
She is the rest of the crew.
Yeah, it was like in Voyager when Tom Paris, who's the pilot, suddenly is like the field medic. Like, just because he took a biology class doesn't mean he's a medic. Like, calm it down, Voyager.
And wouldn't Starfleet require everybody to take some kind of biology class?
I would think so.
Are you having problems, Thaddeus?
I have a pet peeve with that, though. Whenever you're looking at Star Trek characters, just in general, there's a wide range of people, and the people who are on the Enterprise are usually like, oh, the best of the best. But then, like, okay, so take Next Generation. Wesley goes to the Academy, and even though he's like a prodigy and has an eidetic memory, they're like, oh, we don't know if you can get into the Academy. And I'm like, you've got 1,400 people in your ship that are not as smart as Wesley is. Like, what are the kind of criteria for this freaking Academy?
Shut up, Wesley.
And then they say that we 4 people are getting in this year or whatever. I'm like, your math is wrong. There are a lot of 30-year-olds on your ship.
But the funny story about Wesley and getting into the Academy, the episode where the 4 students are all taking the test.
Yes.
That was the episode that I always saw. You know that there's that one episode of every single series that if you catch it on syndication, that's the episode that you always catch. That was the episode for me.
Mm-hmm. So you've seen.
So you got to see Tom Paris.
More often than.
Yeah, I've seen that one way more than I should have. After we get the whole thing where they're trying to stop this Narek trying to get the beacon stopped. We do see Jahardi as well unlock the memory of who was that?
Sutra.
No, it wasn't Sutra. It was the what was the name of the girl that was murdered?
Oh, Pumpernickel.
Okay, Pumpernickel. So Pumpernickel's memory. We see the view from Pumpernickel. Saga. Thank you. We see the view from Saga, where it's Sutra and Narek.
Well, really, Narek
killing.
didn't actually kill her. She
Yeah,
was just standing there. Sutra walks up and is
and
weirdly chummy, and then stabs her in the eye with whatever that was.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Apro. Exactly. So we end up getting that, and they turn Dr. Soong all turns on a dime. He now knows who the big baddie is, and he goes to confront them. Apro, what's up?
No, I'm just.
Oh, I thought you were saying. Do you had something to say, real quick?
No, don't mind me. We're never gonna get through this if we talk.
So we end up Soong confronts Sutra, who's helping Soji put together the beacon through the hologram, and then we get the whole we get the whole attack because Narek has got to La Serena or Ship Del Rios, as Thaddeus likes to say.
Yes.
And he convinces the crew that's on board La Serena to help him out. They try to destroy the beacon. Soji catches the bomb being thrown, throws it into the sky. Nothing happens. Whole setup right at the beginning, all finished. You know, the buildup was for nothing.
Although it was fun to see Rios like smuggling a bomb inside a soccer ball. That was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah.
And anything there, guys?
I do like that Lannister brother was throwing rocks instead of bombs, and that's how they decided to trust him.
Yeah.
He's like, look, I've got grenades, but I'm throwing rocks.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought that was kind of an enjoyable thing. I was like, awesome. I still his character is one that kind of throws me though, because like I want to like him, but at the same time I don't.
Mm-hmm. You want to like him, you kind of do like him, but you think logically he's a bad Romulan. I should not like him.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if I should.
Speaking of a very bad Romulan, Nev, do you have anything to say before we move on to this?
Nev, are you a Romulan?
Quiet.
Sorry, what do you want my opinion on?
Romulans.
The
Latticer
entire Narek teaming up with the La Sirena crew.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, whatever. The enemy of my enemy is my enemy. It's like, no, it really, really isn't. Don't be playing that enemy of my enemy, and it's not a Mexican standoff either. It's just...
It was a Spanish standoff.
because
He's Spanish.
because Rios is involved. It's
just
Spanish.
yeah, you know, he
it's a
had to do it
Spanish
for reasons. Because I mean, he's got a big bag of grenades, so he needs
Well,
them. You know, he really, really needs them.
Rios has a giant ball sack that he had soccer balls in.
Because I mean, you know, he snuck onto a Borg cube with hundreds and hundreds of, you know, XPs on it, and then he snuck back off. But what? He can't sneak into a tiny little village with a few synthetic people in it and blow something up.
No,
Don't
Bollocks.
forget,
that was what they were trying to tell us. They know that he can't do that.
People are going to notice a lot faster. There are less places to hide.
yeah, don't forget, Data could have killed the entire Enterprise D crew solo. So a whole town of synthetics is a lot more than just a whole town of people.
So, so we flashback. Speaking of the Borg cube, we then get a flash to the cube where 7 of 9 is trying to focus to get the weapon system going on the cube. Well, Sister Lannister is trying to get the weapon system to shoot down the La Sirena after it's rebooted and got going. So there was the inevitable 7 of 9 versus Sister Lannister fight,
Which was pretty awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, well, okay, we just woke up Neil. Neil, what do you have to say about this fight?
Yeah. Awesome fight.
Do you like how
Hot
it
chick
ended?
versus hot chick. Two
Yeah,
hot
I can
chicks
go wrong.
into one hot chick leaves.
We'll ask that question in a second. Apro, what did you think of the fight?
Very entertaining. I enjoyed watching it. I might watch it again.
I'm currently watching it again. And like, I gotta say, I don't care what like the credits say her name, the actress's name is. That's Kate Beckinsale. I mean,
No, Kate Beckinsale is hotter.
well, I agree, but they've dumbed her down to make her look Romulan. I don't know. That's clearly her. I don't care what they say. That is the chick from Vampires or Underworld.
Underworld.
Right.
No,
And I
it's
think
not.
she was in like a romantic comedy once upon a time, but I can't remember which one.
Serendipity and no
Serendipity.
from Frequency. Not
Thank
She's been
you.
in more movies than that.
No, she has. She absolutely has.
That's-
But
I was on the same wavelength. I knew that that's the movie he was talking about.
yes, Serendipity is such a good movie. Her and then not Rob Schneider, the 80s guy who's in all the Judd Apatow movies. That's the one.
Rob
Cusack.
Schneider,
John Cusack.
Two totally different people.
Nah, I know.
You
But,
can
like, I'm-
do it is totally different than here's a whole bunch of cards.
I've got a few different decks going up in my head right now. So I thought it was a really cool fight. The banter back and forth I thought was a lot of fun. You know, why didn't you kill yourself? Because of this. And then she kicks her down a well. Like an elevator shaft.
Do you think she died?
No, of course not. She's totally alive.
We didn't
I
see
don't
her
care
die,
how far
therefore
she fell.
cannot
We're
be
gonna
dead.
see her again.
Did she die, Nev?
He doesn't care.
Hey, Shatner.
You know,
brought
they
himself
might
back.
bring her back assimilated. You know,
That
I
would-
don't care. I don't care.
Neil's only here so he doesn't get fined. that's his that's how he's acting today.
No. I'm here because I'm going to tear this episode a new one at the end.
So we get the after the fight, we then get the whole showdown. Picard has been taken to La Sirena by Jahardi. Picard is flying the ship. I thought it was hilarious to see. I thought that it was actually really, really fun, where he's like, I'm concentrating on flying this ship. Stop talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just like the just like the Stargazer, he pulls the Picard maneuver where he makes a bunch of ships show up using the deflector field. The Romulans have arrived. They've torn down a bunch of the all the rest of the Orchids.
Unfortunately.
And then Picard does the Picard maneuver with the Romulans against the Romulans to make a whole bunch of La Sirenas show up.
And it works for a minute.
It does
Okay.
work for a minute.
Can I tell you how disappointed I was that they made the ships show up and not just the Doctor's face? That's what I was hoping. Like dozens of the Doctor's faces just like floating out there in space. I thought that would have been awesome. I thought that's where they were going with it, and I was really excited. And then
Show
it
me
was
what
like,
you got.
Then the Romulans would just be annoyed to death.
I know. Show me what you got. It would have been awesome. But you're right. Then it wouldn't have made any sense. And I think, but if the whole series to this point led up to just faces in space, it would have been amazing.
I think them tearing it apart would have been even more amazing.
I think so too. But it would have been wonderful on so many levels that I, as a non-fan, would have just absolutely adored.
Okay, Neil.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on the Picard maneuver?
No.
All right.
For
So-
a 40, 50-year-old maneuver, though, I gotta say, that's kind of ridiculous that they made it
I
work.
mean, I was a little bit like, she's not Starfleet. She's a scientist. So how the hell would she know about the Picard maneuver unless she'd been through Starfleet?
It might be famous, How do we know about the Battle of Bunker Hill, or
YouTube.
So
exactly.
the guy at the front desk doesn't know who Jean-Luc Picard is, but a scientist knows about the Picard maneuver.
Okay, so I have an answer to that. First off, millennials. The guy at the front desk is the
Okay,
equivalent of a millennial. He's like, "Who are you? I don't care."
Yeah,
whatever.
no, okay. I'll
Right.
accept that because I can just
And-
imagine him sat behind the desk on his phone going,
Yeah, just texting.
"Yeah, sorry,
playing,
who
like,
are you? Yeah, all right,
Candy
fine,
Crush,
whatever."
Whatever.
Candy Crush 75.
Yes, 75,000. He clearly won't be playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
No.
Oh.
No,
Gauntlet
he
has
was
been thrown.
playing the soft launch of DSA, mate.
Yes,
That's why he was
but-
engrossed.
yeah, he was just playing, on his phone, goofing off.
Asteroid.
Whereas she is a well-rounded educational person, like a scholar, a scientist, a researcher of sorts. It's
Who apparently
possible.
isn't suffering emotional turmoil anymore from the horrible things that she'd been, racking herself with guilt with in the previous episode. Just it was gone all of a sudden,
Or
she's all happy
or
and
just
smiles.
disconnected.
And,
Or
Hey,
just
look.
2 days ago, almost died from infecting
yeah,
herself.
almost died a couple of days ago and was very remorseful because she'd killed someone. And all of a sudden, the 17 smiling faces with the contraption that they use because the writers don't know how to fix things. So it's like, let's just have one contraption that does everything.
Mm-hmm.
I can hold this contraption and I just think it and it does it. And then it happens.
Convenient plot point.
Wow. I mean, how easy, how
Didn't even.
Sorry, but that's just like the laziest writing I think I've ever come across.
Synth or bio, though, it works either way. So that proves that there's no difference.
Yeah, but Biodome had Kylie Minogue in it, so...
Biodome!
Biodome is the best of the Pauly Shore movies.
In the Army now, hands down better.
No, Stephen Baldwin.
Whoa, hold on. The best. Are we forgetting Encino Man?
We are not forgetting
No.
Encino Man.
It's
Encino Man
Biodome, Encino Man.
in the Army now.
No.
Son-in-law.
Son-in-law. Then
No,
in the
no.
Army now.
No. Biodome.
And then
Encino
wasn't there
Man.
a jury one? That's way down there.
Jury Duty is below.
Jury Duty was pretty good. I gotta look this up now. Hold on.
What's up,
this This live stream just got interesting.
Yeah. How sad is it that Pauly Shore is more interesting than the show we're talking about? Because
Pauly Shore is more interesting than Star Trek Picard.
Now, I will say, if you just look up Pauly Shore and IMDb, the first credit before you click on his name is Biodome.
Thank you.
I'm still thinking
Best Pauly Shore movie.
Buddy.
Someone literally
Biodome.
goes around poo to get, or someone's poo to get a key for the window. Like, that is classic Pauly Shore.
I don't even like Pauly Shore, but I like Pauly Shore more than Star Trek Picard, so I'm willing to continue this conversation.
Oh dear.
I will say that the best thing that Pauly Shore's ever been in, Futurama, because he's very self-aware, and it's Futurama. I mean,
is he himself in Futurama?
Yeah, he is. He and Fry become friends, and he steals Fry's girlfriend. Like thousands of years after they've broken up.
I just want to point out, right, that there are 4 of us in this stream, but there's only 2 people in chat.
I think that's both of us in
So
chat.
somebody out there isn't watching us. Watch us.
Me.
I'm watching.
I stopped watching us because I have to share the bandwidth with my parents.
That's polite.
Yeah.
We can get back onto the episode if you want, like. We can talk about more giant flowers if you like. We can talk about giant flowers that pull ships down. That I don't just throwing that out there. That could be interesting.
That's all very Star Wars.
I mean, they can build these towers that fire, huge thick lights into the sky to open portals. Sure, they could have, but their defenses are flowers.
Is there one with the Earth, right?
We will get
strawberry shortcakes.
We will do an entire. Maybe we'll do a Talkin' Pauly Shore next week or something.
What's
where
up,
we
buddy?
we will fight over the merits. A definitive ranking of the 5 canonical Pauly Shore movies.
Pauly Shore, what sucks and what doesn't.
But you know what? They're all probably better than Picard.
And what's totally awesome to watch when you're stoned, because Biodome is a million times better when you're stoned. That's like the ultimate stoner movie. I always thought it was Dude, Where's My Car? Because Dude, Where's My Car when you're stoned is you're just like there, like. But no, it's Biodome. Biodome is the best movie to watch when you're stoned, because Baldwin is just like.
See, Neil is thinking locally, and we're thinking globally.
Right. You just accused the Brit living in the States of thinking locally.
It's a quote.
Yeah, it's a quote from Biodome, Apro.
Oh, dang it.
So let's get to it here, because let's finish this. Let's finish this show. We have the whole. The Romulans start to fall for it, and then Picard's on the ship, and he basically says, "Stand down. You don't want to do this. Blah blah blah. All the standard heroic tropes."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're about to fire up, and then they're about to start firing on the little settlement when Starfleet itself shows up. Was Shang-Chi? Is that what it was?
I'd like to call it the USS Copy.
What's that?
I want to call it the USS Copy because the rest of the screen was the USS Paste.
Okay, so Riker's ship is named Zhang He, and Vulture.
And yes, they did copy and paste that.
Yep. So, which by the way was a Chinese explorer during the Ming Dynasty. I thank you Vulture.com for that information while I was verifying some information. He shows up with the Zhang He, and you can absolutely tell. And this pulled me out, just like during Mandalorian when you see the Mandalorian and the special effects is basically just a figure that they had just moving across the screen like this. During the Zhang He scene, it seemed to me like he was on a green screen studio and they filmed all the background of the Zhang He elsewhere.
Yeah.
They didn't bother with a set. It's like, fuck it. It's the last episode, bollocks. We don't need to build a set. We're never going to use it again. Let's just do green screen. We
burned
easier.
our budget already.
Yeah. They burned their budget on those flowers.
Yeah, they burned the budget on the flowers.
Those were cool flowers.
Those flowers each cost $10,000 to make. Okay.
Day of the Space Triffids.
I gotta say that was a very Plants vs. Zombie flower plant feeling. And if I could have one sitting on my house, I absolutely would. Just stopping intruders from coming to my door and stuff. I would love that.
It doesn't stop the intruders. It grabs them and drags them down to your home.
Yeah, so it's not
it's not a very good defensive system. It should be blowing things up in orbit, not
they would drag you
down so that you can get out of your ship.
Any kid that crossed my path would be like, "Mom, getting dragged to Thaddeus' house." I'd have the cops at my door right away. Never mind. I take that back. That's
yeah, good. Take it back. You take it back. I take
it back.
You take it all the way back.
You take it all the way back.
Whoa!
Oh my,
Miss Anthony, that's the first trash talk I've heard you drop.
And she did it live stream.
I know.
Well, at least it was the right place.
I guess that's true.
So anyway, after the Zhang He stops them, Soji's convinced to bring down the whole.
Turn off the beacon.
Turn off the beacon, bring it down, and then the Romulans start to head out. After that, Picard suffers his brain trauma.
Well, he was suffering the brain trauma the whole time.
Yeah, he was.
Right?
He was trying to sacrifice himself. Remember, that thing that people aren't allowed to do in movies or TV shows anymore. They're not allowed to sacrifice themselves anymore.
Episode 19, lay down and die so that everybody else will survive.
See, barbed wire, let me lie on it and you walk over me.
He didn't have a roast Tico there.
Yeah,
there was.
Or a Claude. Nev doesn't know what I'm talking about, but Claude, you guys know what I'm talking about? He's in one scene. Anyways, I've never flown a spaceship. And
wow, really?
I have.
I know.
No.
Really easy.
And
why
Neil,
not?
you've
It's
also
so
been
much
high you get high apparently enough to watch Biodome. But
want to build a spaceship?
Want to build a spaceship? So never flown a spaceship. I've never flown a plane. I have flown. I have driven a car.
I've flown a plane.
And I can say that, like, if I'm ever mentally impaired, driving is difficult. Flying a spaceship has to be way more challenging than a car. And as cool as Jean-Luc Picard is, I just have this feeling that with his condition, that ship wouldn't have got anywhere near the Romulans to try to stop them, because he wouldn't have made it, right? Like,
Well,
it would have been like swerving all over the space. He'd have run into a few plants. I mean,
Thaddeus, he could have had some help off camera of all of those holograms. All the
holographic Rioses.
that's true. That's true. But see, and that's my thought. I'm with Christy here. Like, I think those holograms are only around when Rios is around. It's like they only activate when he's on the ship, because he is the ship.
No, he's not. We established this after episode 3. He's not.
Wait a second. I have a new tinfoil hat moment here. What if he is an avatar, just like Andromeda?
Sure, I don't know what that means, but
Andromeda Ascendant, the Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda series that Kevin Sorbo was in.
Yeah, no,
I have not watched it.
And it's
you lost me.
Think Data, but it's part of the ship instead of its own separate entity.
Okay.
And it's not like Rimmer from Red Dwarf, who is a hard light
So like
hologram.
L337.
Well, a lot less robotic, but yeah, pretty hot.
How about like Gideon from DC Legend of Heroes? Like basically,
Oh yeah.
interacts with
I
him?
stopped watching the CW when it became the CW.
Yeah, I stopped watching
After
the CW.
Dawson's
Yeah.
Creek, I was like, I'm out.
When it was
I'm
the
out.
W, when you know,
Never allowed me for that.
I stopped watching it when it went from WB to the CW, which was approximately somewhere between season 5 and season 6 of Smallville.
So, really quick, Thaddeus, do you know the zip code of Dawson's Creek?
No.
It's 90108.
90108.
It's to be over.
I hope that doesn't my awesome impression of that song doesn't get this like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
demonetized.
Well,
I'm
make
sure
sure
she's hurting for cash.
because we did such a great job of emulating the band. You know, we did a cover just then.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. We're in
See,
homage.
while
Copyright strike.
you wusses were all watching Dawson's Creek, you know,
Ed
as
Roswell.
real men were watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Hey, it was on the same show, wasn't it?
Buffy,
What do you mean it was on the
Buffy
same
and Dawson, they were all on CW, weren't they?
No. Buffy the
Oh,
Vampire
Buffy was on
Slayer is
Fox.
20th Century Fox.
Oh, that's right. That's right. No. I watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer religiously.
Really? How religiously?
great show.
I saw when what's his name became a werewolf.
You saw when what's his face
Dan-
became a
Seth Green.
Xander didn't even make it to the end of the
Oz.
series.
When Oz
He-
became
he
a
watched-
werewolf, you mean?
He watched.
Xander didn't make it to the end of the series.
This took
What do you
Xander
mean
and Oz
Xander?
got
Of
the
course
name
Xander
wrong.
made it to the end of the series.
Oh,
I mean, he lost an eye, but he made it to the end.
Thaddeus watched it as religiously as a born again Christian. Goes on Christmas and goes on Easter.
Xander
He's a good Catholic.
saved the world. Xander saved the world at the end of season 6.
I got
Um,
the
How
name
about that?
wrong.
No
Was that when
superhero,
he-
no superpowers, but he saved the world at the end of season 6. I was like,
Even
yeah,
survived
buddy.
the plague.
I never got into Buffy, but you guys who I know. I didn't have cable as a kid. For you guys who enjoy Buffy, how many of you also enjoyed Angel? Because I did watch Angel.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah,
loved
Angel.
Angel
Mm.
was
Angel
like
a-
my
a
favorite.
shallow-
David
it was a side
Boreanaz was
story of
like
Buffy. It wasn't as good.
my, you know, if I was that way inclined, I so would.
I like
Even-
the puppet
No,
episode.
Even though I'm not, I
Not
probably
Angel
would,
though.
because
Not
David
Angel.
Boreanaz
Angelus.
is a beautiful man.
Angelus was my secret crush, not Angel,
Yeah.
because Angel was a fucking pussy. But Angelus, yeah, bad boy.
And-
Wow.
Proper
Angelus
bad boy.
was the one when he was a demon still, right? When he was a vampire.
form.
He was always a demon.
I'm learning a lot.
Sometimes he
about
was a
you.
demon with a soul, and sometimes he was a demon without a soul.
All
He
right.
was just a vampire, not a demon.
Yeah, well, vampires,
sometimes
demons, they're all the
his
same.
soul was mystic. Sometimes his soul was sucked out. Sometimes his soul was put back in.
Okay.
Like
hold
one
on.
time this one time at band camp, Willow put his soul. Willow took his soul out and put it into a jar.
What you got that?
Feels tired.
I want to say the last season that I watched was when. Well, no, I saw sporadic episodes after this, but like when Xander had when they'd all turned into their characters, right? Their
You're
Halloween.
talking about the Halloween episode from season 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
but in a later season, he
Of
still
not
remembered
Picard.
all of the stuff from
Yeah, he remembered from when he was an army person.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so he got the bazooka and he blew up the demon who couldn't be blown up.
No, he did. It was,
Well,
for
she
goodness
did, Buffy
sake,
did.
it wasn't. For God's sakes. You're getting your seasons and stuff mixed up, right? That's the end. You know what? Just go away and watch them again, all right? I cannot speak
Maybe
to
we
you
should have
right
done
now.
a Talking Buffy show.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, apparently, apropos.
Xander knows how to fire a rocket launcher, because no weapon forged by man can kill the big bad at the end of season 2. And
What if it was forged by a woman?
and it wasn't forged by man. It's like,
Yes.
and the bad guy looks at Buffy and goes, "No weapon forged by man can kill me." And she's like,
I
"Yeah,
am
we were
no
kind of
man,
hoping
right?
that." And then she gets the bazooka out, and he's like, "What's that?" And then she fires it and blows him into a million pieces.
Yeah. And the other two were like, jump out of the way.
Yeah,
I just
Spike and
remember that.
Drusilla, like
Yeah.
get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah. I remember that.
Don't make
But
me
then-
turn this car around.
And then for some reason Buffy and Spike
All right,
end up
Dad.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Buffy and
what's that about?
Buffy and Spike get it on in season season
Giggity,
6.
giggity,
That was awesome. That when Buffy and Spike got it
Took
on,
down
that
the
was
house.
like, yeah, giggity. Giggity.
Well, they shook down the house. Literally.
Neil, we have talking clones to do still,
Okay.
Okay.
and we have just
Okay.
a little bit of this episode, and then we get to finish. And this is the end of the season.
Okay.
We won't have to do this for a while.
Yeah,
We can
no, we won't
another
have to do it ever again.
So
Unless I'm extremely
At-
drunk or very stoned. I ain't doing it again sober.
Both
Ever.
very
It's not-
plausible, I think.
after
We'll talk, Nick. We'll
after
talk, Nick.
Picard
We'll talk.
and after Picard and Riker say stop the Romulans,
And they stopped the advanced AI.
and they stop the advanced AI, then Picard
Oh, you mean the
suffers-
rip-off of The Matrix and Terminator Salvation?
Do you want me to finish this damn episode, Neil?
Go ahead.
Neil
out to
secretly
Thaddeus'
loves this
headphones.
and doesn't want to stop talking about it.
I know. I think that's it. We do have other shows, Neil. It's okay. You can let this end. So
Don't ever
It's
let
not.
go,
It's
Neil.
not letting
Don't
it end
ever
that's
let
the
go.
problem. It's that it might come back.
it is coming back.
It
They've
will.
already talked about it.
Yeah, they already renewed it.
They already renewed it. But so
More coronavirus. Come on, coronavirus. Cease
And there
production.
goes our ratings.
We had ratings.
Well, there's 2 ratings apparently. I added the second thumbs up.
It's just me.
No,
all
we've got
right.
6. We don't have any thumb. Oh no, I took one away accidentally. 5, 6 now. I gave it back to us.
Right,
Just talk through the pain, Paul. Just talk through the pain.
I'll do it.
So he succumbs to it. Then we get a shot of the whole series transfers to Picard and Data sitting inside of a
Flash
study.
drive.
Yes, the flash drive.
Essentially the flash drive.
It's Data's afterlife.
Yeah, Data's afterlife. So Data tells Picard, you know what? Once you've been resurrected, they brought you back, and so
Shoved
what
your
we-
memory in a computer.
Yeah, we shoved your memory in a computer, and when you get out, let me die.
Yeah,
I have
Outer
a
Limits
question.
ripoff.
Rip off of lots of
Nice.
things.
This show made me want to watch Outer Limits, by the way.
Yeah, it did.
But
It
my
made me.
question-
As soon as I saw that scene, I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, I haven't watched that Outer Limits episode where the guy, has his consciousness put into, artificial intelligence." Yeah, and it made me want to watch that episode again. Yeah.
So
But why did they have to kill Data?
Because he
If they
wanted
can
to-
build a golem, why can't they build another one?
well, okay, well I'll get
Exactly.
They were illegal at the time. Did you not watch any of the show? They couldn't.
They did a lot of illegal stuff in this show.
So
I don't think that
Picard
really
asks.
slowed them
Picard asks, "Why'd you bring me back? How'd you bring me back?" They told him about the golem, and then he instantly thought, "Oh my gosh, am I going to live forever?" Dr. Sung says, "No, we put a little bit of we put a limitation so you would, quote unquote, well, not I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact lines, but you will live out the rest of your years as a normal person would have, and then your program will terminate."
No, it says as you normally would have.
Yeah.
So
He didn't have
he
to-
could have 6 months.
because-
We don't know.
Well, I'll get to that. I'm gonna come back to that. We then get to the point where Picard does as Data wishes. We see Data grow old and then disappear and pass away. So Data gets his wish. The reason being, behind the scenes, Brent Spiner said he no longer wanted to play Data after this. So that is why he died.
So
shout
but
out
they
to Brett
could
Spiner
have
for
put him
playing-
into any shaped body and called it Data.
Mhm. In the books, he gets a body from his father who didn't actually die. Yada yada yada. This body is like fully changes shape, changes look. He can turn into any shape and face he wants. Like this was the ultimate android body. Mimics anything it wants. Goes anywhere it wants. And they could have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Or
And
they
then
could
Brett
give a
Spinner
guy-
could have
They
come
still
back
can,
whenever
it
he
sounds like.
fancied. If he needed the work, then he could have just randomly come back. Or when I need some money, I need some royalties. Can I come back for an episode?
He still could. He could
Well,
be in a flashback.
Yeah.
And he could be Alton Sung.
Yeah.
But in
Or
my
lore.
opinion, this is the way that I would want Data to end, because any other character, like there are some things like Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. I love that you have different personalities, different people playing the same character basically, but they all bring something different to it. And that's built into the role. For Data, he was always trying to learn and trying to be human. This feels like a culmination of the journey that we've been on with him, that he finally achieved the one piece of being human that was never an option for him. He got to die. And it feels like the resolution I needed with the character. I would not want to see anybody else play Data.
That's fair. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
think of a better way to have let him go, but nonetheless, there were so many ways and reasons they could have avoided killing him. They could have given him the body before they ever showed up. They had him right there. They had the body.
But they didn't have the
They didn't
knowledge.
have to bring him
Well,
back.
they
They brought
that
him back
wasn't
for the
his
sake of bringing
body
him
dying,
back. To
that
bring
was
him
his
back just to
AI.
kill him. Why not just not bring him back?
Neil, remember that wasn't Data's body. That was Data's AI.
Yeah.
All of this was just
It was his
Data's
mind.
AI.
It was his conscious.
Yes.
So why bring
He
it
was
back
missing
just to
his
let it
grace
go?
ring.
Just
Anyway, then the final shot, we get Picard and the crew, everybody on the La Serena, going out, and we get the final words of engage. There, we
Okay.
finished the what?
And they're all coupling up.
Oh, and they're all coupling up. Yeah, 7 of
we're
9 and
now-
Rafi are getting it on, apparently.
Yeah.
See, I knew Rafi was one to watch.
Yeah. Always keep an eye on Rafi because she.
And then Hardy are gonna be a couple, and then engage. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, yes, and then engage. Okay, there. We've done with the episode. I'm going to save you for last, Neil, on both the episode and the thing. That is the episode itself.
The episode itself, I didn't dislike it. I thought it was fine. There were things about it. I love making fun of it. I mean, I really enjoy making fun of it. But I felt it was entertaining. And as a culmination of everything that we've seen this season, I felt it did a good job of wrapping everything up. It did everything that I expected it to. Like, it followed beat by beat everything that we knew essentially was going to happen. But I don't know. Like, I liked it. I'll give it a 4.
All right, 4 warp cores out of 5.
Out of
All
5.
right, apropos.
It's pretty similar. For the way the show has been done throughout this entire series.
Well, just this episode right now.
But I got to compare it to everything that's come before too. The way the writing has been going this entire show, this entire season, this show falls exactly into the pattern that the other episodes have done. So we're not going outside of the box for a final episode. That's a good thing. We got to see them line up for a second season. That's a good thing. 7 and 9 is in season 2, by the way. But in terms of the story and everything, like Spiner wanted out. I got it. Whatever. But there were so many other ways they could have done things like this. I'd give this episode a 4 because they did a decent job finishing the series. But I'm going to talk about the whole series this week.
All right. For me, this episode, I called it. I called it that the Golem was going to be for Picard. It went the way that I thought it was going to go. It was very interesting to see Riker come in at the very, very end. And yeah, I thought it was a good way to say goodbye to Data, but carry on the synths. I'm going to give this one a 4.5. Mrs. Anthony.
I'm going to give it a 3.5. I enjoyed it just fine, but I feel like the way that it was written, that it was maybe written before they had an idea for the second season, so they could have given themselves a really easy out. If this was going to be a 1 season and done, then they could have just killed Picard and then that been it. But I feel like since by the time they got to filming this, they knew that they were already in line for a second season. So the whole Picard dying, but having a built-in expiration date in this fake body, I didn't feel it was necessary. So it just kind of, it was fine, but I think that there were some interesting things they could have done, some interesting ways that they could have gone, and they didn't choose to take those routes.
All right. Neil, episode 10 only.
3.
Totally different than I thought you were going to go.
Well, I was going to do that. 2. I was going to give it a 2. I really want to give it a 2, but I'll give it a 3.
All right. For the episode, 3.8.
Not bad.
All right. In reverse order, except for Neil, who will save for last. Mrs. Anthony. Picard season 1 overall.
I'm gonna give it a 4 overall. It was enjoyable. I liked the new technology. I liked the new characters, and then bringing back some of my old favorites. It had the nostalgia factor. But I also think that this is a really good gateway for people who have never watched Star Trek to get invested in the series and then want to go back and watch Voyager and Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and see where these characters came from. So
but what if they want the coarse language?
Who cares? Say your own F-bombs in your house. It's fine. But I think that this was a more mature offering for Star Trek, for a more mature audience. And I think that overall, it gave me a lot of what I was looking for. It was completely different than anything I expected. And I will watch season 2. I am looking forward to it. And I'm hoping we get some maybe more episodic adventures like we're used to in Star Trek. But if they give us another series-long storyline, I'm okay with that too. I'm there for the ride.
Apropos, how many warp cores?
I said 4.
4. Okay, 4 for that. All right, Apro.
For the series, 3.5 warp cores. I invested way too much of my life in Star Trek, which is an easy admission now, but it wasn't back then. it was nothing like what I wanted, nothing like what I hoped for, not nearly as bad as I feared. So it's well above the halfway mark, but it's. I was hoping for more. I will watch season 2. It's Trek. However, I'm, whatever it happens, whatever.
All right, Thaddeus, how many and why?
I'm gonna give it 3. I think a lot of I agree with a lot of what Chrissy just said. The only thing that I disagree with is I still don't have any desire to go back and watch some of the older stuff. I mean, I'll still watch the new things. Like I've tried to give some of the older stuff a chance, and it's just not my
cup of tea.
It's just not my cup of tea.
It's not gonna. You're not gonna. You're only gonna watch it because you want to support the Escape Pod content creator.
Of course, of course. I liked it because it's something I love. I love nerding out on stuff with nerdy people. It's fun, and so. But I might continue to watch this. I might. I do think it's got to step it up. So I think this season was a 3 is enjoyable, but moving forward, I've got to see 4+ content.
All right. So, for me, I'm gonna join Apropos. Apropos, you said exactly how I'm feeling about it. This doesn't feel like actual Star Trek, but it does carry on stories from what I'm used to. But it certainly confuses me as to that's the direction that they decided to go.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it would have been a 4.5, but we've already let a few slip here and there. So, if they want me to give it anything more than a 3.5, I'm appalled by their fucking hubris. Neil?
Fucking hubris. Okay, so it's modern Star Trek, So all the stuff from previously, fuck that. We want to modernize it. We want to make it good for the millennials, and the old fans, screw them. I mean, but we've got to bring in some old characters that people like. I mean, 7 of 9, probably one of my favorite characters from Voyager. I mean, watching her develop as a character in Star Trek Voyager and try to get her humanity back and all of the crew helping. I mean, watching the relationship develop between her and Chakotay was one of my favorite couples. And hang on a minute, wait a minute, hang on. That can't be right, because Chakotay's a bloke, right? Chakotay's a man, right? He's a man. Right, Chakotay's a man. 7 of 9 is a woman. And hang on a minute. Wasn't Ravi married? Doesn't she have kids? Oh, yeah, that's right, of course. So,
free love.
2 characters that share no screen time
Don't talk
whatsoever.
About what happens in space.
Oh yeah. Fuck this.
What happens
and
in
Picard
space
makes a sacrifice.
stays
No,
in space.
no, sorry, old man. You're not allowed to sacrifice yourself. We're bringing you back to life. So again,
thanks, Rose.
Thanks a lot for that. And just general them doing that to Star Trek. So yeah. I'm glad it's over.
What's the number?
I'll give it 3.
Still giving it above.
Oh, I'll still give it a 3. I mean, giving it a 1 or a 2 would be just giving it a low score for the sake of giving it a low score, because there were entertaining moments. There were moments within the season. Would I watch it all again? No. Would I watch an episode again? No. But watching it all the way through to the end, there were moments that were entertaining. There were segments that felt like Star Trek. But not the majority of it. The majority of it didn't feel like Star Trek. It didn't feel like it was written for Star Trek fans. It felt like it was written for new people to watch the show, not Star Trek fans. So
Yeah,
I'm still going to get. It's still going to get a 3 because it had bits and pieces. But I loathe it. I despise it. I hate it because it just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
it's good,
And I
hated
the end. I absolutely hated the end.
So what you're saying is it was good for Star Trek, or if it was fair for Star Trek, but it's absolutely not for you.
Oh God, not for me.
So
can I clarify something, Nev? You were talking about Rafi and 7 of 9. Are you of the opinion that this show, in addition to other shows that are out there now, are forcing diversity, like where like they're trying to just cram more diversity in there so that they're like, oh look, we have a gay character? I feel like Rafi could have been written that way the entire time. You know, like if you want to have a gay character, let him be gay.
Oh yeah, no, there's no. I mean that.
Be like, oh yeah, she's gonna have a gay relationship.
That's one of the you see, Josh Whedon did Willow perfect.
Yeah.
Because it took seasons. And then Tara came in, you know, and you had that entire 2 season, you know, you had that season build up when they're in college, and just it was like, and then when they fell in love and they were together, and it was like, oh my God, you know, or it's a bit like it was a bit like Star Trek Discovery. My 2 favorite characters from Star Trek Discovery were the Doctor and the Engineer, you know, the couple.
Yeah.
Because I love those 2 actors.
That's fantastic.
I like those 2 actors.
And I love Anthony Rapp. So
I thought that was a brilliant couple.
This is a character and he's gay.
Yeah, because they were like, it didn't matter. Yeah, they were like an old married couple without being an old married couple. But, you know, then I found out that, you know, they ripped off an Asadine from a video game that was on Steam, and I kind of just thought, oh, right, oh, brilliant, thanks. You know, it's nice to know that you can come up with something original instead of ripping off a game developer. But yeah, no, so it was forced. The whole thing with Seven and What's-Her-Face was forced. It was completely and utterly unnecessary.
If they wanted to have that in the show, awesome, that's fine. But give them some kind of build-up. Don't just make them hold hands.
It needs to be developed.
And be like, hey, maybe that's going to happen.
Yeah, needs to be developed and nurtured, not just let's do a sweep. Oh my God, they're looking into each other's eyes and holding hands. It's like, excuse me, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
All right,
bollocks.
So that finishes up this this season. Maybe the series, if Neil doesn't want to do this.
No, he is. It's fine.
Of the Escape Podcast Talking Picard. Maybe it'll be Going Nerdy Talking Picard. It'll just be you and I, Thaddeus, and Apropos throwing peanuts at us.
Yes.
But a major thank you, Apropos. You came in halfway through the season, but you have been an integral part of this show. Thank you so very much for everything.
Hey, thank you for having me. It has been my pleasure.
Yes. So, and Mrs. Anthony, thank you for joining us early on. It means a lot to me that to share this with you, and thank you for supporting me in doing this.
Of course.
All right. Thad, I deal with you enough. Neil, I deal with you enough. With that being said, guys, go make sure that you subscribe to Apropos channel. Apropos Win, WUIN, right?
Yeah, but it's pronounced Ruin.
Oh, okay. Apropos Ruin. And then we also have Going Nerdy. Just Google Going Nerdy Thad. You'll find that. Go find the Nev. Nev Swaga.
Damn it, I can't find it. Where have I put it?
What'd you put? What?
Oh no! I'm gonna have to do it. I'll have to do it manually when you tell me to shut down the show.
I gotta plug Team Wednesday as well. By the way,
plug Team Wednesday.
Yep.
It's a thing.
Go check out Team Wednesday. Dan, Kyle, everybody except for one guy. There's one guy who and it's not Dagger, that I wish would just fall off a bus, but that's just me.
Is it Apropos?
No,
because he's here. He's in the room with us, man.
With that being said, guys, why don't you give us your tagline, Thaddeus?
Well, guys, as always, this is Thaddeus. You can check me out on all of my channels, and I want you to smile and stay nerdy.
And that does it for this edition of Talking Picard on the Escape Podcast. Remember to wash your hands, be nice to each other, damn it. And Neil, are you ready? Do you got it? You got it?
Mm-hmm. No,
All right,
I can't
Neil?
find it. But never mind. I'll do it manually.
All right, Neil, push the button.
Star trekking across the universe.
On the Starship Enterprise, along with Captain Kirk.
Tits off and out,
Star
folks.
trekking across the universe.